Never forget, left-wing populists prioritise class. Right-wing populists prioritise culture. And that is the fundamental difference between the two. Yes, national populists might have a strong working class following, but their starting point is not class, it is culture. And they're tapping into the fact that people out there care about their national culture. They care about who they are. The left has never really understood that, never really understood what to do with that. And that's the important point. Lash is one of those writers I wish we could bring him back to life and say, look at what happened, because he called it all. And also, by the way, The Culture of Narcissism is another great book. Daniel Bell is another one. Go back and read The Cultural Contradictions of Capitalism. Daniel Bell saw all of it. The rise of the adversary class, the rise of an elite class that basically hate their own country. You know, he talked about this in the 1960s, 1970s. A lot of those guys. My good friend, your friend, Eric Kaufman, his stuff is really good on this. If you want to challenge yourself, read a book like White Shift or his new book, Taboo, or in America, The Third Awakening. You know, these are people who are openly challenging the elite consensus in how we think about these issues. And in today, more than ever, you have to expose yourself to ideas that will challenge you and thinkers that will challenge you.
I'm reminded as you talk now of this clip of Rory Stewart and Alistair Campbell on their horrendous podcast.
Well, they never invite anyone else on who might disagree.
But they were trying to argue against populism, but neither of them were able to strongman what populism was. They weren't able to define it. And if you want to defeat an idea, if you strawman it, you will never be able to defeat it. So anyone who's listening to this conversation and is triggered by it and thinks they're squirming in the street, like Pelosi was squirming in her seat when she was in front of me at Oxford, if you want to contend with this shit, go and bloody read these books and try and understand it. Strongman the position before you. I think the scary thing is if they do that, if they end up worrying that they might end up agreeing with it, that's probably what they don't want to do. But also, just my last point, because this is one of the reasons I'm an optimist about the future, because you can put a discussion like this together online. We could have hundreds of thousands, millions of clicks. Your videos, I've seen them going absolutely viral. The Oxford Union, you put across a different view about populism, what it is. This is why they're scared, because they no longer control the public marketplace of ideas. And you can have 20 podcasts that all offer the same liberal, centrist, centre-left view of the world. But now there's a new ecosystem. There's a new ecosystem of YouTubers and Substackers and Unhearders and et cetera, which is powerful and influential. So my view is that's a great thing to happen. Let's support it. Help shape it. It's why I talk regularly on new media, the new ecosystem, because I genuinely believe in it. We have to diversify the marketplace of ideas. It's not just about political parties and voting. It is the water in which the fish swim, right? And that's what we are helping to shape and flavor. I'll give you, just in case it's interesting, but from my point of view, running this YouTube channel, one way in which it's been easy is there are some topics which everyone cares about, but the mainstream media are too scared for politically correct reasons to even touch. Islamism is a great one. Populism is one. They won't touch it, but the masses care about it. So in a sense, it's quite an easy job. You see these huge gaps in the marketplace of ideas. You just have to. You don't even have to be particularly bright. I'm certainly not particularly bright, and I just talk about. But
you also see how the gatekeepers respond. I mean, I always get calls, for example, from some of the more, let's say, flagship BBC shows. Right? I don't want to name the shows, but we all know what they are. So, we're having an interesting discussion about a European election. Would you like to come on the panel? So, and then they go away and they do their research. Then you get the phone call, which is, my editors decided to take this in a slightly different direction, which basically is code for, we have gone away and researched and understood that you have a countercultural view, which is different from the consensual view in the elite institutions. And that is not conspiratorial. I've been told this by
you do a lot of mainstream media.
I do some mainstream media, but I've never, there are reasons, I think, why I've not been on some of the really massive shows, because I think when you are openly challenging the elite consensus and you can back it up with evidence and facts, and you're well read in your research, which is what everybody viewing the show, it's very easy to do that. Just invest time, read every day, just read and snowball from one book to another. That guy mentions that guy, right? I better read him. That guy's footnoted to that that woman. Okay, I'm going to read her. Just go, snowball. Become your own researcher. You don't have to go to university for that. But when they realize that, they'll always back off. They won't have you on. They're scared. Because a lot of the people who are gatekeeping these institutions are themselves not particularly bright. They're deeply ideological. They might not know it, they might not realize it, but because they've gone through the institutions, they've been socialized in a particular worldview. And so anybody that challenges that, you see it on the BBC homepage every day. It's like, I click on the BBC homepage every morning because I want to see the liberal progressive view of the world. And it's like, oh, there's our identity politics story, our LGBT story. Okay, there's our evil far right story. Okay, and it is a kind of template of the liberal progressive worldview. When you're challenging that and you can back it up with arguments and evidence, they get scared and they won't engage with you.